Hello everyone, this is Bruce and welcome to Highcrafters recap session number 3. Okay, so the last two videos we talked a lot about what I like to call theory stuff, right? Really boring stuff, but important if you want to build a successfully working website. Okay, so we talked about HTML skeletons, we talked about in the last video how to build them, and hopefully you built your own website with a skeleton. So all that stuff just sets up your page for what we're going to talk about today, and that is pretty much the meat of HTML, which are the elements or the tags. So we did learn some header tags, but now we're going to actually learn some more tags that will add things like pictures, videos, all kinds of stuff like links and really cool stuff like that that will make your website start to look like an actual website rather than just text, right? Okay, so let's jump right in on the action. Okay, so let's get into some of the core HTML tags, at least in my opinion, that will help you guys to make a really cool looking website. Also, I don't want to forget this, but these tags, all of the tags we're going to talk about today are actually part of the homework. So, if you're having issues with your homework, watch this video. This will help you. Alright, so last time we learned a lot of stuff, and I mentioned all that before. So today we're actually going to be working on the rest of the HTML language, all of the rest of the elements and tags that we haven't done yet. Now we cannot cover all of them, but we're going to try and cover all the ones that you need for your homework. So the first tag we're going to learn is an anchor tag. Now a lot of people will think of this as a link tag, but this is in fact an anchor tag. That's why it's not link and end link. This is, if you're ever confused on the name of the tag, look at the end. It will always be a dead giveaway as to what the name of it is. This always helped me when I was learning HTML. So this is an A anchor and a anchor tag. So the href part is your actual link. Okay? So we did talk about this in class, that href stands for hyperlink reference. And this is our hyperlink reference right here. So in this case, we're linking to this site, and it has to have this http:// and then the www.whatever.com. And this text, where it says Google, that can be anything you want it to be. Later on, we're going to be actually not using this as text, but as a picture, which is our picture link, which is, I believe, number 7 or 8 on the list. So that's something to think about. The text can be whatever you want it to be, but I would make it correspond to the link. Because I'm linking to Google, I wrote Google, or I can say Google's site, or maybe just put a question mark and say, hey, mystery link. You know, whatever you want to put there, you can do that. That does not affect the link at all. So, that text is regular text, which I've been trying to kind of say this is, you know, whatever you want it to be. So, this text nested between the start A and the end A can be affected or marked up. Since HTML is a text markup language, we can mark this text up using pretty much any other tag we've learned so far or will learn. So in this case, we're using a header tag to mark up this Google. Okay? Images. So here we are with an image tag. So we have an img, src, now this stands for source, equals smileysface.gif, and yes, I say GIF, not GIF. So this is our file here. Now remember, this dot and then whatever, that's the extension name. So your extension actually does matter. If your extension is wrong, this picture will not show up even if this first part of the name is correct. Both of these on both sides of the dot need to be precise. Okay? Then we have our alt. Don't worry about alt for now. That just helps people who can't really see the web page very well. It helps them understand what this is that we're trying to make. Then we have our height and our width properties. Those can be changed, and I want you guys to fool around with those and see what makes it look the best. So that is our image tag. Notice there is no end image tag. This is one of those rare tags that actually doesn't have an end. So it's pretty much just hanging out there. And it does work, right? Because it was actually designed not to have an end image tag. So this is one of those weird ones. Okay, to get an image off of Google, you're just going to right click on the picture and click Get Image URL, or you can save image as, save it to your desktop, and then get that file name like so. We may do that in the next application video. Okay, now let's talk about picture links. Using what we know about links and images, we can create a picture that is a link. Now, I've been hinting towards this kind of the whole video, right? We have our A and our end A, and we're nesting our image right in between the two. So when you click this image tag, when you click this image, your mouse cursor is going to change to like a finger, and then you'll be able to click that finger or click that image, and that will go to whatever link is here. So that's how you do that picture plus link. You're just going to nest our image inside of our link. Okay, for the title part, you might not know really what that title is doing, and it's actually this here. So without this dash home, imagine that's not there. If we just did Pie Crafters, that's our title here. So this title is actually going to go in the head. So this would actually be where we would need to use the head tags. So we'd start end and end head, start head and end head, right above the start end and end body, start body and end body. So we can go over that in the next application video as well. But that's what the title looks like. So that is one of the homeworks. I believe it's number 1 or 2 on the list. Then we have our break. Okay, give me a break. All right. So this break tag is extremely useful. Once you start doing HTML, you're going to see just how useful it is. It should be used with a fair amount of caution. You don't want to just go around breaking stuff willy-nilly. You want to do a lot of breaks using CSS because it's a lot more manageable and you can change things a lot easier later on down the road. It's just a little habit I like to get into, to use CSS to break rather than using this tag. This is a bit of a last resort for me. If I really don't want to use CSS and I really just want to see how something would look really quickly, I would use the break tag. It's very useful sometimes. Usually though, it's just for testing, and I would probably remove it later and just add a margin or a padding to whatever element I need to space. We'll get into that in our CSS video, so don't worry quite about that yet. Okay, now we have our Favicon. So this is where we use that link. Now notice this says link. It doesn't say A. So this is why we couldn't say a link tag, because the anchor tag is an anchor. It's a link anchor tag. This is linking to an external either style sheet or some external resource that we need to load with the page. So a resource would be like an image or some style sheet or a JavaScript script file, something like that. That would be an external resource. In this case, we have a relationship. The relationship for this link is a shortcut icon. Our href would be whatever our Favicon href is, and our type is our image/x-icon, whatever that means. I just know it's got to be there. Okay, so in the class, I didn't make this a requirement just because if you were like under the age of 13 or under 12 or 10 even, this is a very hard process to do. You actually have to resize whatever image you want to use to 16 by 16 pixels exactly. If it's any less or any more, it will not fit or look very nice or probably not even be accepted. So make sure that it's 16 by 16. Once you've resized it, you can put that the link to that resized image right in here, and that could be a JPEG or whatever you want to make it. It just needs to be 16 by 16. Now we look at our list. There are two kinds of lists. There is an unordered list and an ordered list. We can go over what they look like in the applications video, but just know for now that an unordered list, essentially think of it as it can be read in any direction. So an unordered list is essentially a list of items with bullet points next to it, so just a dot next to each item. I like to think of it being unordered because I can pick out any list item I want and pretty much read it from wherever I want. So if I want the middle item, I can just read that middle item. There we go. So it's a shopping list. It doesn't really matter what order I buy the items in. It can be unordered. An ordered list would not be UL, it would be OL in the start and the end tags. And an ordered list actually has numbers next to each one of the list items. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, depending on how many we have. So this would be 1 dot fan art, 2 dot fan fiction, 3 dot news. And you're going to see how that looks in the next video, application video. Just know that this is how we make it. Okay, last but not least, the center tag. The center tag can be a little bit controversial because we don't really use this tag anymore. Really, this should and can be very easily done using CSS, and it's really a better practice to use CSS because it makes your code much more manageable and a lot easier to change in the future if we wanted to change up our styles. So the center tag is not a good habit to get into. You can use it for now because we haven't learned CSS yet. But just know that when you learn CSS, one of the big questions you should say is, okay, how can I use something like the center tag with CSS? Because that is the better way to go. Again, anything you want centered is going to be nested in between the start and the end center tag. Okay. Here is our HTML skeleton. So this is essentially just reiterating what we've already talked about. We have our doc type, start HTML, end HTML, start head, end head, start body, end body, all that stuff you probably already know about. I just wanted to show you guys real quick recap of what that is. So this is what your final document should look like, and then we're going to add all that stuff to it later on in the recap session. Alright, here is the homework. Okay, so you should have this handout with all of this homework on it. If you don't, you can pause the video right now and actually copy all this stuff down. If you're above the age of 10 and you feel like you're ready to take on a challenge, give the Favicon a shot. Favicon can be a little hard, so look up W3 Schools if you have questions. I can show you that link right now. So if you type in W3 Schools, usually it's the first link right here. So it's www.w3schools.com. They will have every single HTML tag you can dream of, all right here. They also have stuff for Bootstrap, PHP, SQL, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Angular, W3.css, and a lot more. I mean, they pretty much have everything you could want as a web developer on this site. So if you're having questions and I can't answer them, or you just, feel like not going to me for some reason, this is a great resource. Also, if you can't get in touch with me for some reason, this is a brilliant place to go. They have all kinds of stuff. So you can look up pretty much, if you look up a Favicon, if I were to type in Favicon, right? And I were to, let's see, if you look up, let's see, Favicon W3 Schools, you will probably find something. Let's see. Here we are. Here we go. So if we try this ourselves, and we look in the window to see the Favicon. There it is. So that's that right there. So here's our link. href is our demo, icon.gif, and our sizes. Okay, so you can pretty much figure out how to do that. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the elements and all of the stuff that we're going to go over in this video. Alright, so we just went through a ton of stuff. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, don't worry. Everybody feels that way right now. You probably will need to watch this video several times. There is a lot that we go over in this particular segment, okay? we're trying to cover a lot of material, as much material as possible in just 1 month, and we're really cramming a lot in here. So you might be confused. As I say in every video, Slack is your friend. The questions under our comments channel on Slack, the PyCrafters Slack channel, will help you so much. It will be very, very helpful for you. If you have questions, you're feeling overwhelmed, and that it's definitely the best place to go. So if you're still confused, go there. Otherwise, if you haven't been to the PyCrafters class before and you're just watching these to learn, you can comment under this video on YouTube, and I'd be more than willing to answer any questions you may have. Okay? Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope to see you at the next PyCrafters class with all of your questions, and keep working on that homework, plugging away, and we will see you then.